Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to this Naquatica mainstream analysis episode. Today is July 22nd, 2016. What I want to talk about with you guys today is the situation that happened in Nice, France. Just recently, where an attacker about 31 years old drove through a whole group of pedestrians on a boardwalk. 84 people were fatally injured. Amongst them were 10 children. This man himself, married with 3 children, also passed away himself as a result of being gunned down by the police. Now, what's interesting about this is the take that the news has on it. And in case anyone has ever noticed, every time when something happens in the media, it is blamed on terrorism and people or migrants from Syria. Yes, in many cases, the people who are involved in these assaults seem to be people from Middle Eastern countries. Now, and if the evidence does conclusively say that it is a terrorist and those were his intentions, then it's something else. But what I'm talking about is when we jump the gun and work with stereotypes just based on circumstantial evidence. And this is oftentimes the case. So many times when news media would actually have to say, according to unconfirmed news sources, they just or put it out there as if it is a given fact. And the same is true with this incident in Nice, where it is not really certain if it was really a terrorist or not. Let's have a listen.
Now, Mr. Juillet, was the Nice attacker a lone wolf or a terrorist acting under the command of Islamic State?
Well, up to now, the last attack, we have not any official information about, the fact that it is linked with Daesh, with ISIS. But all the information around this attack shows that it's the same system as it is used in other countries. Therefore, we are sure that it is really a terrorist attack coming from Syria. Managed by Syria.
Yes.
So, as said before, this lady asked the question in a way. Of course, this is a news show, and it lives from the danger and the acuteness of something. It's like it's drama. Okay, we don't have to argue about that. But still, people watching it and that don't know the rhetorics of drama and making stuff interesting might really take that and walk around saying it's this and that. And upon that fact, people will build up fears, aggravations, and certain stereotype notions. Now, what I find really interesting is how this man deals with her questions and how he neutralizes it and clearly states that there are no fully proven facts that validate the assumption that this was a terrorist per se, working with a background and bigger organization behind him. Now, a second example, because this could be a coincidence showing that there is some kind of pressure that the media sometimes likes to use to implement their analytical views on experts. I will show you an instance because there is the question of $100,000 in this whole case with this gentleman, with the so-called alleged terrorist who died. And people or analysts are saying, since there is this $100 involved in the case, that this is so similar to other cases where suicide bombers or people who do suicide, they get money, or their families get money for them to do the suicide. So they are saying because of that, because of these circumstantial evidences, that this must be some sort of terrorist or linked to terrorist organization. And she places her question in a very interesting way, but here's how Mr. Alain Juliette from France reacts to that and deals
Is
with
this
it.
evidence some powerful structure is behind him after all?
Well, you know, I have read, as you say, we have learned about, you know, the story of the $100,000 in Tunisia. First point is to be sure it is true, and I'm not, well, up to now, it is not proved. You know, that's an information, but it's not proved. Now, if it was proved in the future, it will be very interesting because it will explain part of the story. As you know, certainly in Lebanon, Syria, in Iraq, when someone blow himself, the family receive money. That's part of the deal, you know. The guy is a shaheed, become a shaheed. The guy or the girl become a shaheed, and the family receive money to come.
So there we go. He explains it and he deals with it. But the most important thing to take away from this is that first we need to prove something, that it is the way it is. It was a horrific tragedy and evil in any sense what this man did to the innocent people walking there in France. However, in terms of our moral responsibility to ethics and how we deal with these cases, we need, before we put it in a bigger picture of this is linked to this and that, we need to do that based on facts, and we need to do that based on reliable facts. That's a question of being truthful. We know it was bad what he did. If he would have survived, he would have been put to justice and he would have gone to jail and faced his sentence. But beyond that, all other conclusions and links should be put together and connected reasonably and according to truthfulness, according to laws that govern the way you put information together. That's the only point. And then there's one last question. Based on this substantial evidence now, it seems that the media is trying to push it towards Syria. And the conclusion is that all these attacks and terrorists are from Syria. There's always Syria is always falling there. It's like a bell that is rung every time. And people are becoming more and more instrumentalized. If you ring it long enough every day at lunch, soon as you ring the bell, people will get hungry. And this bell with terrorism in Syria has been rung so much that as soon as you say Syria, people will think of terrorists. If someone introduces himself to you, you might think he's a terrorist. If he goes for a job interview, you might believe that he's a terrorist. And I just want to close it with that we need to be careful when we create stereotypes and when we try to put facts together. Where are those facts from? Are the sources reliable sources? Thank you very much for listening to this episode, and I wish you a wonderful day, because in the world there are more things that are worth living for. And there is so much that we can strive for and that we have in common. So much that connects us that we can't even begin to imagine right now. And having said that, I wish you a wonderful day.